It's round 4 of the 2006 Superside FIM Sidecar World Championship. After the delights of Holland last time out, this weekend we're back over to the east of Germany and the famous Sachenring circuit. Well, this Sachenring circuit, just a short 2.81 miles around, 1 minute 32nd lap record, 90 miles an hour, and on pole position once again, championship leaders and reigning world champions, number 77, Tim and Tristan Reeves. Tero Manninen and Pekka Koismanen, second in the series, second on the grid, and returning after missing Assen, the French team of Sébastien Delannoy. Well, it was the second time this year that the Superside had supported the MotoGP event. Highlights of the 11-lap sprint race coming up.
So here we go then, sprint race on the line, about to go. Lights have gone out. Who's going to make the all-important first corner, Ian? Any indications of who's going to win this one?
Qualifying was really tight, so really it's only one of 4 or 5 teams, and that tight first corner here at Sachenring saw some incidents there last year with Andy Laidlaw and Delannoy spinning out, but they all seem to have got through safely this time. And it looks like number 77, Tim and Tristan Reeves, got the whole shot in front of Tero Manninen and Pekka Koismanen. So
the defending world champion leads this one away, already starting to pull a reasonable gap over the chasing group, but someone just spinning up the rear tyre there as they go into the left-hander. But it's anybody's race. You say Manninen would want to win this to keep his championship chances alive, but it is that 77 outfit of Tim and his younger brother Tristan who are in the lead. The 44 outfit going through there of Pavarinta, the Finnish rider on the Suzuki from Helsinki, and as the rest play chase game, and well, it is the 77 outfit that's clearly away, but that's the replay of how they bunched up on the first. Oh, someone got their nose up there.
Yeah, that looks like Mark Barr, the French guy, and so everybody didn't get through there cleanly, and Barr, you may remember, was involved in that incident at Assen as well, so keep clear of Mark Barr on the first corner.
Well, they're all safely through now, so starting to extend their advantage. Number 3 went through Billy Garris there and John Briggs.
Oh, bit of contact there. Dan Morrissey getting nerfed by the Slovenian, and into the first corner. Delannoy trying to get up the inside of Tero Manninen. And, well, Pekka Pavarinta having a big slide there. But there's Sébastien Delannoy on the 91 machine, the French driver. New passenger this weekend, René Gugnard, with the demise there of number 97, Michael and Bernd Grabmüller. But it was Tim and Tristan Reeves that really got the hammer down in this one, carrying 20 kilos success ballast. They had 30 on in Assen, but lost 10 because they didn't win the race. Manninen has 10 kilos extra on that machine. So if Reeves carries on at this pace, he's going to pick up another 10 kilos of success ballast for the long race.
I'm just wondering whether there's a bit of tactic going on here. You deliberately don't win a race just to get rid of some of the ballast that you're carrying. Well,
that could be Manninen's tactic for sure, and I don't think Tim has any tactics. He just wants to win every race that he's in, doesn't he?
55 outfit, Mike Rocha there, and Alafani just going through, and they're all beginning to smoke up the rear tyres.
Yeah, that's typical Andy Laidlaw style, isn't it? Just give that rear Yokohama some stick and hope it lasts for the race. Pavarinta there chasing Stuart Muldoon. Well, Muldoon's got ahead of Pavarinta now, so Muldoon in 4th position. I think the 3 leaders are too far ahead of the Scotsman to be able to make an impact on that.
Looks tough out there at the moment for the outfits. It's a very fast circuit, full house crowd. Of course, we're running alongside MotoGP again, which the crowd have stayed. About 80% of the crowd have stayed to enjoy the sidecar racing, though it just goes to prove that sidecar racing is popular.
Yeah, look at this battle for 6th position. Richard Gatt and Paul Randall disappointed after Assen. The clutch cable broke on the sighting lap, but they're getting passed by Andy Laidlaw, and Rocha's coming up the inside of Steve Norbury as well. So 4-way scrap for 6th position. Ahead of them, Gary and Dan Knight. But I can tell you, Gary and Dan Knight have been given a 30-second penalty for a jump start. So they're actually behind this group on corrected time. There's the board, the big yellow board on the left-hand side of the track, informing Knight of his penalty. So a bit of disappointment for the Macclesfield pair there.
I wonder if they're actually aware of that, whether they've seen that board despite the size of it.
So Ben and Tom Birchall now coming up through the field as Richard Gatt and Paul Randall have slowed dramatically. They're down in 9th position, well 10th position now, as Martin Van Gils and Mark Cox have gone by, and indeed Billy Gale-Ross and Johnny Briggs as well. So Randall looks like he's out of this one, cruising round at the moment. Billy Gale-Ross and Johnny Briggs.
Do you think that's a case?
Oh, we got
someone out there.
Muldoon. No passenger.
No
What's
passenger.
happened?
He's lost his man. Whoa, that was lucky, but not so lucky for the passenger.
No, that was very lucky not to turn that machine completely over. Here we see it again, just got the back end of the machine out sideways. Paul Napton couldn't do anything about that, flung out at about 80 miles an hour there. But he seems all right, clutching his back a little bit, so I hope he's going to be okay. Tim and Tristan Reeves just lofting that sidecar wheel through that top hairpin. And really on it this weekend. They broke the lap record in practice and qualifying, and they've dominated this 11-lap sprint race right from the word go. Coming up behind Thomas Nagel and Michael Hildebrand, the local wildcard German riders. Well, Reeves just looking, shaking his head a little bit. Blue flags flying, but Nagel just getting in the way a little bit there. But it won't worry Tim and Tristan. They've got enough of a lead on this final lap. There is Mannanen at the top of the hill. And behind Mannanen, we've got Sebastian Delanoy in 3rd position. So, as they come in towards the checkered flag, look at that rear tyre of Mannanen's chewed up. Tim and Tristan Reeves into the final corner, up the hill, and they're going to see this checkered flag to take the win in the sprint race.
So as the Eastern Airways 747 lands past the checkered flag, it's another win for the two Reeves brothers in this sprint race. They need the points, and I'm sure they'll be glad to take them.
Wait further back, that's Steve Norbury and Scott Parnell having a spin at the final corner. So that was the battle for 4th position. Gary and Dan Knight, they're out of it on corrected time. At Norbury, well, same as Muldoon, but not quite as dramatic.
Lucky not to get collected by somebody coming round the corner at the same time, but Reevesy decides to give us a spin up.
Well, victory for Tim and Tristan Reeves, Mannanen, Koisman in 2nd, Delanoy and Guignard 3rd. That's the podium. Pavarinta 4th, Laidlaw and Farrance 5th.
Union Jack right smack in the middle, but becoming quite accustomed to that.
Well, this huge crowd for the Sunday MotoGP event, eagerly looking forward to the main race in the Superside calendar. Same grid as the sprint race, Tim and Tristan Reeves on pole position, Tero Mannanen and Pekka Koismanen in 2nd. Number 91, Sebastian Delanoy with his new passenger on the outside of the front row, Stuart Muldoon and Paul Napton. Well, Napton will be sore after that spin, and 2nd row for Mike Rocha and Adolf Harney. Just look at that crowd, Kenny.
Yeah, as I said earlier, it just goes to prove that sidecar racing is popular, because as I said, 80% of the people have stayed to watch this sidecar race, which has got to help the situation as far as road traffic is concerned whilst leaving the circuit.
Now we're going to get a clean first corner. Who's up the inside? It's Sebastian Delanoy into the turn 1, and that looked like Reeves going very wide. I think that is Reeves in the gravel. Well, he just didn't make the turn, did he?
No, perhaps he just wants to give the rest a little bit of a chance, and he can play catch up and excite the crowd. Maybe Tim's out for a little bit of crowd pleasing.
Valentino Rossi style.
Exactly.
Well, don't forget, Tim Reeves now carrying 30 kilos of success ballast again on that Eastern Airways machine. So heading into turn 1, perhaps the extra weight there just affecting his braking, but I didn't seem to get involved with anybody. It was just a self-made mistake from Tim and Tristan Reeves, and we don't see that very often.
Yeah, probably went for the late brakes into the corner, and she just drifted offline and then onto the slippery stuff and straight into the kitty litter, and I think he's pretty lucky to get back on again.
Certainly is, but that certainly excites the race up a bit, because Tim and Tristan Reeves are mired right down near the back of the pack, as up front it was Tero Mannanen and Pekka Koismanen chasing Sebastian Delanoy, and this gaggle coming through this fast sweeping downhill section. Andy Laidlaw and Patrick Farrance there behind Stuart Muldoon and Paul Napton. There's Delanoy, Mannanen, Gary Knight and Dan Knight, the father and son team in 3rd position. No jump start for them this time.
Just got a glimpse of Reeves going up the inside of that group, so he's already on the move, is Tim. So I'm pretty sure the red mist has come down, and he's deciding that he doesn't want to finish any further than in first position.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be in front of Tim at this point.
Not
in
at the
race,
moment. He's going to be. It's going to be sidecar wheels very wide and elbows probably as well.
Yeah, I'm sure Tim will get his shoulders out as well for that one as they make their way through. Just going up the inside.
Here they come.
That's Martin Van Gils and standing passenger Mark Cox ahead of them. Reeves looking determined. He's already passed about 5 people on that opening lap.
Tristan Reeves, the sidecar passenger there to his brother Tim's going to have to be working pretty hard, I think, because Tim is definitely on a mission and that sidecar passenger is going to be doing overtime.
Yeah, and oh look, a replay of that first corner. Well, got it broadside in the gravel, but very lucky there to keep that machine running and rejoining mid-pack. Taking a bit of grass with him as well.
Yeah, well, a bit of grass cutting helps the ground staff here to keep the grass down, I suppose.
Well, there we are, number 37, Gary and Dan Knight, the father and son team on the Redline Superbikes machine in 3rd position, being challenged by Pekka Pivarinta and Timo Cardiala. That was close through that fast sweeping corner.
Breathe in, please.
Yeah, what a good showing from Gary and Dan Knight. They, as we said earlier, got that penalty in the first race, but they were running up in the top 4, now in 3rd position. That's the best showing from Gary Knight for a long time. Former European champion back in 1991, but then had a long period of retirement, came back 2 years ago, and, well, he'll be enjoying this one.
Well, it looks like a case of follow the 37 outfit at the moment, but Tim and Tristan Reeves are back there, and they are closing on this group. So we're going to see some sparks, I feel, quite soon.
Yeah, and there are Tim and Tristan Reeves. They're ahead of the Austrians, Jos Moser and Ule Waffler. And now they've got Steve Norbury and Scott Parnell ahead of them in their sights.
I'm fairly sure that most of these outfits in front of Reevesy at the moment are feeling already the pressure of the man that's coming on them. 91 there. Yeah,
Sebastian Delanoy, Remy Guignard. What a good job this new passenger's doing for Delanoy. Qualified in 3rd position, 3rd in the opening race, now leading this main 22-lap event. A good advantage, that's about a 2.5 advantage over Tero Manninen. Here's the battle for 3rd position. Gary Knight, Pekka Pivarinta, Andy Laidlow, Stuart Muldoon, Steve Norbury behind Muldoon, I think it is, but quartet through the fast sweeper and the plunge down the hill. This is a good overtaking spot. And who's going to make it?
Muldoon.
It's Muldoon stepping out.
Oh, squeeze if you can, please.
Well, that was a good clean pass there from Stuart Muldoon. Managed to hold the line.
Managed to keep his passenger. So welcome back here to this FIM World Sidecar Race. We are here in the Sachenring in Germany, and it's all getting very hairy at the moment.
Yeah, that battle for 3rd position still held by Gary Knight and Dan Knight ahead of Stuart Muldoon, and they're fanning out 3 abreast coming into the final corner. That looks like Tim and Tristan Reeves. Well, I thought he was going to take 2 at once there, but Tim and Tristan Reeves forcing their way past Andy Laidlow and Patrick Farrance. So, 3rd position Gary Knight, Muldoon 4th, Pivarinta 5th, Tim and Tristan Reeves up to 6th position now, but looks like Laidlow fighting back.
Yeah, well, Andy Laidlow will certainly want to prove a point if he can. He's taking the inside line. Tim will have a go up the inside line. But
Pivarinta's out. Pivarinta's put his hand up, and that caused a few problems for the following Andy Laidlow. Well, disappointment for the Finn there, but it was what was going on behind. Let's look at the replay. Andy Laidlow had to swerve violently there, nearly threw Patrick Farrance out. Well, that hurt his hand, didn't it?
Yeah, rather. You're not used to making exit stage left that fast normally, unless you sort of lost control of it. 91 still leads Delanoy, the Frenchman, after a pretty poor start to the season, especially the last round, where he had nothing but bad luck.
Yeah, the last round that he contested, Castle Combe, didn't score any points there, and of course missed Assen. Tipped as one of the favourites at the start of this year, so he's got some ground to make up, but here's that battle for 3rd position. And Tim and Tristan Reeves now looking to make 4th position ahead of Stuart Muldoon and Paul Napton. Well, Stuart left the door open for Tim there.
Well, Stuart, maybe he's got a small problem there, or maybe just realising that Tim will go past no matter how.
Well, don't forget Paul Napton thrown out in that first race, very sore, hurt his back, skinned his arms as well. So he'll be feeling that bit of pain now. But Tim and Tristan Reeves, I mean, what can you say about that recovery from the gravel trap on the opening corner, and now challenging for third place and a podium position?
Yeah, well, he's a determined young man, as we know. They both are very, very determined at times, sometimes too determined. But he's very lucky to survive the gravel trap, and now he's trying to put himself higher on the podium than where he is at the moment. I feel pretty sure that's what he'll achieve.
Yeah, and he's certainly caught up Gary and Dan Knight very quickly, and he'll be looking at the first opportunity to pass the pairing in front of him. And they're coming into the sweeper down the hill into that fast left-hander at the bottom, which is a favourite overtaking manoeuvre for Tim.
Here he
goes.
It
looks like he's got it lined up.
Oh, yes, on the brakes, very, very late.
Can he hold the line, though? That's the question. Well, yes.
Yeah, there you go.
What a superb bit of driving.
He really has come on in the last 3 years with the exit now, of course, the former multi-times champion Steve Webster. He's now taken retirement, and of course he's very active in the organisation of sidecar racing in the UK. But Tim has stepped up onto the plate to take the mantle of the great man, and if he keeps this up for the next 7 or 8 years, he may well eclipse those titles.
Yeah, and look, Stuart Muldoon and Paul Napton going ahead of Gary and Dan Knight. So Tim and Tristan Reeves seems to have opened up the door there. Gary and Dan Knight been holding third position since the start, and well, now they're all queuing up and looking for a way past. Andy Laidlow going to force his way past as well. So Reevesy going past seems to upset the rhythm of the Knight father and son pairing, and now everybody's going by.
Maybe those tyres are just starting to go off. It's not just quite, it's very hot here today. So track temperature's very high, and those tyres will be suffering under this relentless pounding that are being received from these big 1000cc engines.
Yeah, and look now, Tero Mannanen and Pekka Koismanen right on the tail of Sebastian Delanoy. Delanoy perhaps had a moment somewhere around the circuit. He's lost a bit of time, and Mannanen wasting no time in trying to go past and cleanly through ahead of the French pairing.
So maybe they've got a problem. That could be tyres starting to scrub off. Who knows?
Yeah, for sure. There's been a lot of teams blistering the rear tyres here this weekend, just in this excessive heat. And the power, 200 horsepower from these 1000cc Suzukis. And yeah, they've got to run harder tyres to try and stop the blistering, but then of course that causes problems with lack of grip as well. Now look, there's the leaders, first and second, and we just saw in the hazy background Tim and Tristan Reeves in third position. Replay of that move, well, nice and clean, straightforward. The Finn late on the brakes, straight through into the lead.
That's the way to do it, but as you said, Reevesy in third, closing up on the two in front. We could well end up with a three-way corner battle to the checkered flag here, and I would like to guess who's going to win that one.
Yeah, and this is fifth position now. Andy Laidlow and Richard Gatt and Paul Randall, they got a bad start and they've been making their way up through the field. Gary and Dan Knight just dropping back slowly, but they'll have been happy with their performance so far this weekend. Laidlow once again really hammering that rear tyre.
Could pay the price of that a little later on in the race as we are getting into the final laps. And Andy Laidlow, as you say, that became a professional rider last year by selling his house and living in his motorhome along with all his family, cat, dog and everything else. So I hope he does get the success he deserves. But as you say, there's that number 37 outfit still in there and still chasing hard. Gary Knight with Dan in the chair.
Yeah, and what a great scrap we've had all throughout this race, all the way through the field really, and the excitement for the crowd of Tim and Tristan Reeves working their way up from that, I think, 17th position at the end of lap 1. And we've already seen in the MotoGP race Rossi come from 11th on the grid to take the win. Is Tim going to try and emulate?
Possibly, even though he's got 3 wheels and there's 2 of them. Be interesting to get Rossi in one of these outfits, see how he goes.
Richard Gatt looking tight up the inside, couldn't quite make it there. Got to be careful on the exit when you go in tight. You can see these sidecars sliding as they come up the hill and down this fast straight into the, well, virtual 90-degree hairpin bend. Knight in close company, but it's Gatt and Randall up the inside. A superb camera shot there. Laidlow not quite able to squeeze back ahead, so Richard Gatt and Paul Randall now look as though they've moved up into 5th position.
Good scrap this is, really good scrap. Sidecar racing at its very best between these two, and the back wheel spinning up again.
Yeah, and of course that's the battle for 4th position. My apologies. So Richard Gatt and Paul Randall in 4th position. But at the front, Tero Manninen beginning to build a little bit of a gap between himself and Sebastian Delanoy, who's held up behind the back marker, and that's Tim and Tristan Reeves on the outside of the corner on the white machine. Ooh. So Reeves now right on the tail of Delanoy and past.
Nice one, yeah. White right across the nose of one outfit and up the inside of the other.
Well, that back marker causing a bit of confusion, and that's Mark Baer, the fellow Frenchman to Delanoy, not really doing his countrymen any favours there. But Tim and Tristan Reeves just lined that up from way back. They knew what was going to happen, didn't they?
Absolutely. Well, they were hoping that's what was going to happen, otherwise it might have been a little bit more disastrous for them.
Now look at this. Tero Manninen and Pekka Koismanen. For 1 minute there, they probably thought they had a secure lead. If they look behind them, they've got that big number 77 looming hard and fast.
You can hear the air horns around the circuit going on, so it's obvious that the crowd here are really enjoying this scrap.
Yeah, and Delanoy now back to 3rd position after leading for such a race, and that's Ben and Tom Birchall. Oh, and Tom Birchall just getting spat out. And, well, they're right in the middle of the track. That's not where you want to be, is it?
Not really, no.
Tim and Tristan there, look, right on the back of Koismanen and Manninen now.
Running out of laps. If they're going to do it, they've got to start thinking about doing it now. As that Eastern Airways 747 lines up the outfit in front, they're going to come through. He's looking right, looking left. He's going to go the other way. Oh, look at that, straight through up the inside. Has he made it?
I can't believe Tim Reeves can break that late into that downhill corner and still hold his line. Manninen looking for a way through again.
Oh, well, Tim swaps sides, comes the other way.
These are 2 hard drivers, and neither of them are going to give any inch. Delanoy taking a watching brief just behind. Delanoy perhaps not quite so keen to get involved in this scrap, but maybe hoping they're going to take each other off. And once again, the lead going to change. Manninen just forcing his way through on the inside.
Gave Tim a little bit of a warning there to say, move over, I'm coming through no matter what. Almost nudging him over, and that really will lift the blood pressure of Tim Reeves for sure.
Yeah, not that he needs much to lift his blood pressure.
No, that's true, no, but he'll be saying, OK, you want to play that game, mate? I can do that, and just as well, if not better. He's proved that in the past.
Look at this, just millimetres apart, and they're both absolutely on the limit and the ragged edge. Number 24 there, Milan Spendel and Mark Pickering, they're down in the points. So good run there for the Slovenian driver, but it's the battle at the front that we want to be looking at. And here it is.
Yeah.
Well, Delanoy, I think, has decided he doesn't want to be any part of this and just backed off, happy for 3rd position.
Safe.
And this is the final run in towards the flag. Reeves on the grass. He's not going to make it. Manninen covering that inside line this time around. It's Manninen that leads. There's a back marker in the way as well.
Yeah, I'm going to say there's a back marker there. That could. Who's going to go which way? The back marker doesn't know which way to go at this point. He just knows that those 2 are coming.
Well, it's Manninen leading out of this final corner. Reeves.
Well, what were we saying? What were we saying about Mr. Reeves? I don't quite know how the FIM jury are going to look at that one, but he certainly gave him a little bit of a good thank you, it's mine.
Well, I don't know what to say about that one. We'll have to look at that one again, I think.
Yeah.
Well, Tim and Tristan Reeves taking the victory there. Tero Manninen and Pekka. Well, Manninen not happy there, is he?
No, not at all.
There's a few words being said between them. Well, although it was Tim and Tristan Reeves that stood on the top step of the podium to take the laurels, the FIM decided that last corner move was far too hard in their new fair play ruling. You can see, well, I mean, it's a racing incident, but just a little bit of leaning on Manninen, I think, there. So they decided to give Tim and Tristan Reeves a 30-second penalty for that manoeuvre, which demoted the British brothers down to 3rd position and allowed Tero Manninen to actually take the 25 points for victory. Delanoy and Guignard, 2nd, 20 points. Reeves demoted to 3rd. Laidlaw and Farrens came home in 4th. Gary Knight, a superb 5th position ahead of Richard Gatt and Paul Randall. Well, Manninen not overly happy, but it did come away with the 25 points, and that helps his championship position. Now just 13 points adrift of Tim and Tristan Reeves. Laidlaw holding 4th, Pavarin to 5th, and Delanoy moving up to 5th position.
Let's not forget Reeves has lost some weight for the next one.
In the team standings, it's Team Suzuki Finland just extending their advantage now to 45 points over the Eastern Airways squad.
Certainly getting tight at the top, and the action's coming thick and fast. Salzburg Ring for the next round. We hope to see you there.